Lesson 2.4. Our objective is to solve multi-step equations. Guidelines for solving multi-step equations. Number 1. Simplify one or both sides of the equation first. Number 2. Use the properties of equality to isolate the variable. And number 3. Check your solution in the original equation. In this lesson, you will learn to solve equations that require you to simplify one or both sides of the equation before solving. You may have to apply the distributive property, combine like terms, or apply the distributive property and combine like terms. In lesson 1.3, you learn how to combine like terms. And in lesson 1.4, you learn how to apply the distributive property. Well, in this lesson, you will use those skills that you learned to solve equations. So let's go ahead and get started. Example 1. Solve the equation. Check your solution. This lesson has 10 problems that we're going to work. At any time throughout the lesson, if you feel comfortable enough to work problems on your own, I want you to pause the video. Once you're finished working the problems, I want you to restart the video to check your answers, just to make sure you're okay. So let's check out the first one. My first problem I have 3x plus 7x minus 8 equals 15. Well, if I look at this, if I were to cover up the equals 15, I'm left with the expression 3x plus 7x minus 8. Well, we learn how to combine like terms, like I said in lesson 1.3. Well, all we're doing now, in order to solve this equation, we're going to have to combine like terms before we start. So I'm starting off the exact same way. I'm going to draw my line down to create two separate sections. Now, when I look at the left side of my equation, I have like terms. I have 3x and 7x. Those are like terms that I can combine. So I'm going to do so. 3x plus 7x, that's 10x. Bring down my minus sign and bring down my 8. Bring down my equal sign and then bring down the 15. Now when I look at this equation, I'm left with 10x minus 8 equals 15. Well, you learn how to solve these types of problems in the previous lesson, so you know what to do here. Your goal is still the same, to isolate your variable. So I need to get rid of the minus 8, and I'm going to do the opposite. So I'm going to plus 8 to both sides of the equal sign. So I'll bring down what I have left. That gives me 10x. 8's cancel out. Bring down my equal sign, and 15 plus 8 is 23. Now I'll divide both sides by 10, and that leaves me with x equals 23 over 10. Now in this lesson, I'm not going to check all of my solutions, just because if I did, that'll make the lesson extremely long. But I will check this first one, and from here on out I won't check anymore. Okay? So the original equation was 3x plus 7x minus 8 equals 15. So I'm going to substitute 23 over 10 into the equation where the x value is. So this would be 23 over 10 plus 7 times 23 over 10 minus 8. Okay, I can add these two, and that will give me 10 and 23 over 10 minus 8. Well, I can simplify this fraction. 10's cancel out, leaving me with 23 minus 8, which is indeed 15. So that lets me know that my answer was correct. Now, like I said, I'm not going to check all of these because it would make this lesson extremely long. So let's just move on to the next one. When I look at this one, I see here, let me go ahead and draw my line first. creating the left side and the right side. When I look at the left side of my equation, I see here I can apply the distributive property. I can distribute the 3 throughout the parentheses. So let me see what happens when I do that. 3 times 2x gives me 6x. And then 3 times 6 gives me 18. Bring down my equal sign. And then my equals are negative 48. Once again, after I've simplified, I'm left with the two-step equations that you learned how to solve in the previous lesson. So I know what my goal is. It's to isolate the variable, and I know how to do it. So let's just do it. So you want to subtract this 18 from both sides. That leaves me with, bring down the 6x. 18's cancel out. Negative 48 minus 18 gives me a negative 66. Now I have 6x equals a negative 66. I'm trying to get rid of the 6. Remember, your goal is to isolate the variable. 6's cancel out, bring down the x, equal negative 11. Okay? Let's move down to our next one. Once again, when I look at this one, I have 2 times the sum of 2x, I have 2 times the difference of 2x and 4 plus 6 equals 30. Well, clearly I see here I have to apply my distributive property. I have to multiply that 2 to both terms inside the parentheses. So when I do that, that gives me 4x minus 8 plus 6 equals 30. Well, now I look and I still have like terms. Now I have like terms that I can combine. So let's rewrite what we have after we combine the like terms. That's 4x. Now I have this negative 8 plus 6. That's going to give me minus 2 equals 30. Now once again, I'm back down to my little two-step equation. I have to get rid of the 2, so I'm going to add the 2 to both sides. That gives me 4x equals 32. Let me extend my line a little bit. Divide both sides by 4. That leaves me with x equals 8. 32 divided by 4 is 8. Now once again, I'm not going to check all of these, but in order to check it, you'd simply replace the x in the original equation with an 8. And it should equal 30. If you work that out, it will give you 30. And that'll let you know you have the correct answer. Okay, let's check out your next one. Now this time when I look at the equation, 7x minus 2x plus 3x, I have 3 like terms. 7x minus 2x. 7x minus 2x will give me 5x. Now I want to bring down my 3x. And these are also like terms. So I'm just doing them 2 at a time. 5x plus 3x will give me 8x. Bring down my equal sign. Minus 8. Okay? So now I've simplified the left side of my equation. Now I'm ready to solve. I simply need to divide both sides by 8 because that's what I'm trying to get rid of. And I'm left with x equals negative 1. It's a fairly simple process. Let's move on down to the next one. Now, if you feel like you're comfortable enough to try some on your own, go ahead and pause the video and try some. If not, I'm going to keep working problems. Let's check out your next one. Now it looks a little bit more involved, but I'm still doing the same thing. I look at the left side of my equal sign, the left side of my equation, and I see that I can combine some like terms and I need to use the distributive property. So first I have to distribute. I'm going to rewrite what I have left. So that gives me 4x. 3 times 2x is 6x, so plus 6x. And 3 times 8 gives me 24, so plus 24. And then minus 7. And I'll bring down my equal sign. Okay, now let's look for my like terms. I have 4x and 6x and 24 and minus 7. So when I combine like terms, 4x and 6x is 10x. 24 minus 7 is 17. And then bring down my 57. Now I'm ready to solve. I've simplified the left side of my equation. Now I'm ready to solve. I'm going to subtract 17 from both sides. 17's cancel out. I'm going to bring down what I have left. This gives me 10x equals 57 minus 17 is 40. Divide both sides by 10. My solution to the equation is 4. 40 divided by 10 is 4. My next problem, I have 2/3 times the sum of 3x and 6 plus 7 equals 21. So first thing I need to do, I'm going to distribute the 2/3. Now I can reduce this before I multiply. 3 will go into 3 one time. This becomes a 1. So 2 times 1 is 2, so this is just 2x. And then when I distribute 2/3 to 6, 3 will go into 6 twice, so this becomes 2. So now 2 times 2 gives me 4. So this is 4 plus 7 equals 21. Just bring down everything else. Now I have like terms. I'm going to combine my like terms. This is going to give me 2x. 4 and 7 is 11, plus 11 equals 21. Now I want to subtract this 11 from both sides. Bring down what I have left. X's cancel out. 21 minus 11 is 10. Divide both sides by 2. And I'm left with x is equal to 5. On my next problem, let me move this down just a smidge. On my next problem, I see that I have to distribute. Let me go ahead and draw my line. I have to distribute this 3/2 to 2x and at minus 2. So I'll bring down my 3x. 3/2 times 2x gives me 3x. Then 3/2 times a negative 2 gives me a negative 3 equals a negative 33. Well, I see I have like terms here, so I'll combine my like terms. This will give me 6x minus 3 equals a negative 33. Well, in order to get rid of the minus 3, I want a plus 3 to both sides. Bring down what I have left. That's 6x. 3's cancel out. Equal negative 3 plus 3 is negative 30. Divide both sides by 6. My 6's cancel out. So that will give me x equals negative 30 divided by 6 will give me a negative 5. So my answer is just x equals -5. On my next problem, I see that I have to distribute. So let me go ahead and draw my line down, dividing it into two separate sections. I'll distribute the 2 times the x and the 2 times the 3, and then -5 times x and -5 times the -1. So when I do that, I'm left with 2 times x is 2x, 2 times 3 is 6, -5 times x is -5x, and -5 times the -1 is a +5, and it equals 17. Now I'll look for my like terms. So now this gives me 2 times a negative 2 minus 5x gives me a -3x, and then 6 plus 5 is 11. Bring down my equal sign, 17. So now I have to get rid of the plus 11, so I want to do the opposite and say minus 11. I'll bring down what I have left, -3x equals 17 minus 11 is 6. Divide both sides by -3. My -3's cancel out, and I'm left with x is equal to -2. Okay, gonna go down to my next problem. It's the same process. I start off, I see that I have to distribute this 6/5 to 5x and also to 10. So when I do that, 6/5 times 5x will simply give me 6x. And then 6/5 times the 10 will give me 12. Then I bring down my -8, bring down my equal, -20. Combine my like terms, and I'm left with 6x plus 4 equals -20. Subtract 4 from both sides. What do I have left? I'm going to end up with 6x, 4's cancel out, equals -24. -20 minus 4 is -24. So now I'll divide both sides by 6. 6's cancel out. That leaves me with x equals a -24 divided by a +6 is -4. And that's my final answer. Now for our last problem. Starting off the exact same way, I see that I have to apply my distributive property. I'm going to distribute -3. I'll bring down what I have left. This becomes 55x. -3 times 9x will give me a -27x, and -3 times 12 will give me a -36. And then I'll bring down the +2, bring down the equal sign, and bring down the 22 on the right side of my equal sign. Then I'll combine my like terms. I have a 55x minus 27x, and I have -36 plus 2. Well, 55x minus 27x gives me a 28x, and -36 plus 2 leaves me with -34. And I'll bring down my equal sign, equals 22. Now I see what I have left, just a little two-step equation. 28x minus 34 equals 22. I'll add 34 to both sides of my equal sign. Bring down what I have left. 28x, 34 is cancel out, equal 22 plus 34 is 56. And I'll divide both sides by 28. 28 cancels out. That leaves me with x equals 2. So my final answer is x equals 2.